Here at Days of the Dead with Sid Haig, the legendary Sid Haig, your body of work, amazing, all the different genres. This is just a preview to the interview we're going to have on April 23rd. I wanted to just get a little, for the fans out there who don't really know you, you are more than Captain Spaulding. You have been in Jack Hill's films, you've done work with Pam Grier, you've done work on countless TV shows, you've gone in the acting field. You are a musician, which is what I think is the coolest of all. You know, the T-Birds with Full House, you know, going in there playing on Wolf Moon, you know, jamming out, you know, why you're not performing. You know, it'd be great to see you actually perform at one of these cons, man. You know, do they know about your talent?
No, they don't. That might happen like at a NAMM convention. We've been talking to some people about doing stuff.
Nice.
Maybe putting a little CD together with 6 or 7 of my songs and, you know, doing that.
Wow, you definitely have a jam and blues sound.
Yeah.
And that comes from someone who's been up and down the road for quite a few years with bands. You know, you're what was the song that comes off the website? The one that you wrote off the top of your head?
Midnight Motorcycle Man.
We played it on the show, and I'll tell you something. It's got a flow to it. It's got that improv bluesy sound to it that just, you sit back and you just chill and you love it. So tell us a little bit about your musical background when it comes to where you came from and how you came to where you are now.
Well, I got into music because my parents got tired of me beating up their pots and pans, okay? Mm-hmm. And they bought me a used drum set when I was 9 years old. And I just started playing and practicing, and I went and took classes to, you know, fine-tune stuff, and just played all the way through school, high school bands and stuff like that, where I put a group of guys together and formed the T-Birds, okay? We were recording for a small record label called Dice, and Keen Records, who was Sam Cooke's label, okay, bought up our contract, and we did 6 singles for them. They only released the Full House because that was a company that was started to lose money. And to show you how this whole deal works, how when people get involved in something they don't know anything about, how it gets all screwed up. The guy that owned the company, John Simus, was looking to lose money because he had this highly successful airplane parts company, okay? And so he needed some place to hide money, you know? Yeah. And somebody came to him and he said, we got something, you're guaranteed to lose money on this, okay? Why? What's so different about it? You won't believe it, but this guy, in 3 minutes' time, says 26 times, you send me. And that was Sam Cooke's big hit. So when you're rich and you've got all of your shit together, okay, you can't lose money.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to Bob Hope. They came to him with an idea. Said, okay, you have to have like money to hedge and you do all this stuff. We got it. What are we going to do? We're going to take orange juice and freeze it and put it in a can, and we're going to call it Minute Maid. Okay? When you got it, you can't lose it.
No.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, there's a theory that if they took all the money in the world and they distributed it equally amongst everybody on the planet, in 6 months' time, everybody that had the money before will have it all again.
Wow.
Because that's just in your DNA. You just know how to make money.
Wow. See, this is what I'm talking about with you being more than what you portray on the screen. You are someone who is an American who believes highly in the country. You are a man who has been down the road. You talk about Bob Hope. You know, you've worked with Bob Hope, Lucille Ball. You've worked with so many different, Sean Connery. You worked with so many different actors and actresses over the years before working with Rob Zombie, that it's mind-boggling to see all the movies and TV shows you've done. I know, you know, you've been on Saturday morning TV shows, Jason of Star Command.
Yeah.
And you played a variety of different roles, the heavies always. What was it like being with such legendary actors and working your way through that in TV into cinema?
My first experience with working with a living legend, was when I did Spider Baby with Lon Chaney Jr.
Absolutely.
Okay. First 2 days I was in awe. I couldn't even speak. Okay, because as a kid, every Saturday I'd go and watch some Lon Chaney movie, or Bela Lugosi, or Boris Karloff, the big three.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just amazing working with him and being able to just, in the downtime while they were doing setups, new camera setups, we would just sit and he would talk and I would listen, and he gave me so much help. He steered me in a direction that he did not himself navigate that well, the Hollywood politics, because, you don't kick Jack Warner in the ass and become successful, but he did.
Wow.
Yeah. So, working with him, working with Omar Sharif, and Sean Connery and, all the rest, just was amazing.
And Lon Chaney, for sure, you can see that in your acting performance. I mean, the way that you, at least in my opinion, the way that you were Captain Spaulding, a lot of the roles you did down in the Philippines, you definitely have a way of emoting the facial expressions, the body language, just sending it without even saying a word, just as the Chaney family did, with Phantom of the Opera, and then later on with the different monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you consider Lon Chaney your greatest inspiration, or when it comes to acting?
Yeah, he was the guy that really convinced me that this is what I have to do with my life.
Wow.
My first experience like that was when I was in high school. My high school drama teacher was an actress in New York, Broadway shows, the whole thing, and wound up in Fresno, California. How does that happen?
Small world.
It was like something out of a film.
Yeah.
This guy, this cattle rancher from Fresno, California, went to New York, and he went and saw this play and instantly fell in love.
Wow.
And he just hounded her until she would go out with him and have dinner, and everything was above board, and he was so cool that she just fell in love and moved to Fresno. So the way she used to cast her plays was that she would double cast everything and then have one of her friends from Hollywood come up and basically choose the cast out of the double casting. And the year this is my senior year, she invited Dennis Morgan, who was a big musical comedy star in the 30s and 40s and early 50s. She had him come up, and he selected me for the role. And then 2 weeks later, he came back to see the performance, and afterwards he came backstage and he said, you should seriously think about doing this for the rest of your life.
Wow, and that's going to be my last question for now. But at these conventions, I've seen you now in Massachusetts, Rock and Shock. You're going to be at Horror Hound. You're going to be at a handful of conventions. You are solidly booked every year, whether it's House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Spider Baby. A lot of the heavy parts with Pam Grier, which we saw Pam Grier last year, and she looks fantastic, man.
Yeah, she does.
She's a stunning, stunning woman. But with this, how do you deal with the fan reaction with all these legendary films, these cult films at conventions, for example, like Days of the Dead?
Well, you just have to do it like you live your life and you do your work and just make it real, And as long as I can keep my feet on the ground and make it real with the fans,
absolutely,
then I feel good. I feel like I've done my work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to having you on the show, and we're going to talk a good amount about politics.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about music and more. I'd like to talk a little bit more about Spider Baby and a little bit more about the zombie stuff. As I said, you are more than just Captain Spaulding. You're a brand. You really are a brand, and you sold yourself well, and these fans appreciate everything that you put out here, and it's nothing ever but positive that I hear.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
So look forward to having you on, Sid. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you so much, brother.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to Scratching the Surface here on Horror Happens Radio. Check out our other episodes here on SoundCloud.com/horror-happensrs. And again, find us at horrorhappens.com, on Twitter at horrorhappensrs, at GhostJOK, and at JYKY Horror. Plus, friend us, like us, share us, Facebook.com/horrorhappensrs, and find us on Instagram under JY_KY_FTS. Thanks for listening to Scratching the Surface. And again, the music of the Midnight Syndicate, midnightsyndicate.com. Pleasant nightmares.